Okay, public comments, anything today?
Yes. I was hoping that Tom Thompson would be here just to reiterate what was said in the budget hearing about the HUD grant, so that way people who watch the live stream would know that the funding isn't here yet, and then like when it would be like distributed. Just to reiterate the points that Tom said, but he's not here.
Yeah, unfortunately I can't speak for him, and he's not here today. I know there's gonna, from what I understand, we have to get an action plan approved. It's got to be submitted to HUD. HUD's got to approve it. It's got to be voted on. We have I think it's a 30-day window where people can make comments on it, and that's how it went. We didn't submit paperwork for a grant. HUD contacted Tom's office to tell him that this is what they're going to be giving to Cicero.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And that's all, kind of what I have. He's the expert at that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Okay, Green Alley program is moving ahead. We had one alley that wasn't finished from last year's list. It was on the 1200 block between 56 Court and Central, and it's up and moving. It's going good. DCEO Grant Funds, $1.5 million. The town's received an additional $500,000 DCEO grant for Green Alley paving. The projects are scheduled for construction in 2025. We're doing approximately 6 more alleys. We're trying to see if we can get another one squeezed in. The cost when you just do concrete alleys compared to the green alleys, it is like double. So we can't do as many alleys as we could do if we just poured straight concrete. But there's a lot better effect with the green alleys, so that's why the board approved it. All our alleys forward are going to be green. Hopefully with this grant we can pick up the money that we're getting from HUD. We can pick up and do a bunch more alleys, part of it. MWRD Stormwater Partnership Program. We're still waiting on word from the Kolar Park project. All our applications have been submitted and they are being reviewed by MWRD. We submitted 5 project applications September 13th to 2024 for FEMA's putting out $57 million for stormwater management, and we submitted 5 projects. Our applications have been accepted and they're under review by FEMA. What we just spoke quickly about, the town was awarded a $96 million for disaster relief. As of January 7, 2025 notice, town officials are currently working with HUD representatives to complete our preliminary applications. Our master plan has been completed that we've been discussing, that we started the ending part of 2023. It's all been completed. We're going to have a follow-up meeting with MWRD in the city of Chicago soon. We're going to try to put something together. The townwide combined sewer cleaning and inspection program has been moving forward pretty good. We did find an issue, a couple issues that we already resolved, and we have a few more we're going to be taking care of. Otherwise, the project's moving really good. And once it's finished, we're close to complete. We're going to be bidding out phase 2, which is going to be south of Cermak Road. Same thing from 4600 to Lombard, and I think we're going to try to go up to 31st Street on that project, or maybe just to Ogden. We're not sure yet how far we're going to go south, but we will be bidding out that very soon. Town backflow preventer installation program is still going. People are still picking up applications and submitting them. That's another thing we would like to add on to. Hopefully, we got to see what else we're going to be doing with the funding when that comes available. But that's something else that's been batted around in my head, at least. I just have to see. And before we do board comments, we have a guest speaker today from MWRD. Not necessarily a speaker, but do you have anything you'd like to add today? Or
I wasn't expecting to speak, but
no, you don't
some of the information we have and what we have available to residents in Cicero.
We really appreciate that, and I do know that we received an email from MWRD, and we're looking into ideas maybe to expand in the town a project also with the rain barrels, because you guys gave it to us. And I know we're going to be reaching out in about another couple weeks or so, and we're going to be, I know on Wednesdays you do the saplings, it's going to be starting again, and I know that's something we're looking to get involved in again. It was a very big success last year, and as people would come up and pay their water bill, we were handing out the saplings to residents and stuff, and we had a table set out there right outside the water department, and after a meeting, we had a town board meeting, we let, some of the people were here, went and got them, and also residents after paying their bill, and also as they were getting in line for the vehicle tags, they were grabbing saplings. It went over very good. We actually had one gentleman who owns a couple bigger buildings in town, and he said at one time he was actually an arborist from another community, and he was poaching through them to find the trees that he thought were the best. I asked him for some advice, and he smiled. He goes, this is my idea, what I think is a good tree also.
We have so many of these programs right now. Our rain barrels have a special price. They're $10 if you have someone in your home 65 and over, $21 regular price. Usually it's like $42. So we have like a half price sale going on.
Now, would that be something the municipality can purchase for the 21, or do we have?
Both.
Oh, okay.
We go through a company that's in Canada, and they deliver it to the resident's home, and there's information on how to install.
I know we did it last time when you were giving them out for free years ago. We did have our senior services. They were installing them for the seniors for free.
Right.
We had them come out and they were putting them all in, which was a big success. Problem was, some of them were forgotten about and frozen, cracked. Winter in Chicago.
Yeah, I understand. The last thing is we have a green neighbor guide that you can get from our website. I also have a couple of copies, but it helps homeowners basically to figure out how they can manage stormwater on their own property better, including giving very detailed information on how to do native plant gardens, rain gardens, those kinds of things. So, just so you know, we have that available.
And can we utilize that on our website?
Or you can download it from our website.
And we can put it on our town website then?
You could put a link,
Yeah, beautiful. That's something perfect.
Let me add too that with Larry and myself being commissioners at the senior center here, we had a drive-through with the tree adoption where we had people drive through. We had dozens upon dozens of saplings that we gave away to seniors and drive-through residents.
Oh, that's right. When we took extra and dropped them off at the senior center. Thank you. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's one thing we did do. When you gave out the saplings, we also brought some to the senior center, and two of our commissioners were part of it, where they were taking care of them and helping the people there too. So those are, and I know.
Those, I think, if you need to know, and you probably know this because sounds like you've done the giveaways.
Yeah, we ordered ahead of time, like 125.
You can order ahead of time, right.
Yeah, and I know we did it. I know our grade school, it's District 99, so they did 99 saplings last year, and I 201. I forgot if we ended up doing them or not there. But I know that was one thing we were pushing for, to get 201 to also do something with the saplings. We did receive a grant from Morton Arboretum, so they're going to be doing a tree inventory and planting more trees. But I know around an area that I'm familiar with, I had on 24th Street and 50th and 24th Place and 50th, I think we planted probably a good 25 to 30 trees. We had the town plant in that area. It was really barren. They had a disease and a bunch got cut down, but we replanted a lot of them there.
I found those arborists in my neighborhood measuring trees and getting a health report on the trees, identifying them, so that's moving along quite well.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, it's wonderful to
And
receive it.
that was a $500,000 grant.
And with that, two
Forestry department.
two forestry guys are being trained as arborists.
Wonderful.
So we'll have a couple arborists in the town of Cicero now too, so that's gonna be fantastic.
Now, I picked up 4 orphan saplings from the senior center. I have them buried in my backyard. We'll see if they survive, and if anybody wants them, I have them.
Good. We'll be working with MWRD on a lot of
It's
different
very exciting.
programs. It's been a nice.
What trees do for the environment is amazing.
So,
And what they do for flood control.
yeah. Is there any more comments from the board members?
I have some notes I'd like to read, if I may. All right, I want to bring a recall to when the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad elevated their rail yard, resulting in a massive amount of dirty rainwater flooding our neighborhoods. President Dominic challenged the massive railroad and won. This resulted in BNSF having to build stormwater retention systems, preventing millions of gallons of dirty stormwater from flooding our communities and sewer system. Now, I've been watching the progress of the property purchased by Burlington Northern Santa Fe, located between Ogden and 31st Street, Central and 55th Avenue. Buildings have been demolished and terrain excavated. Looking from the corner of 31st Street and 55th Avenue, see a large retention pond has been built. Prior to anything else, this retention pond is in existence. No debate required here, just simple compliance, a true demonstration of the progress made by flood control and the Cicero leadership. Progress Cicero has made in flood control may meet the demands of stormwater that falls within Cicero city limits. Unfortunately, the majority of flood water results from that generated by our neighboring municipalities. Chicago's heavily populated Austin neighborhood, Berwyn, and Oak Park are major contributors. Chicago also maintains a pumping station that pumps storm and wastewater from the area east of Halsted Street, the geographical ridge, into the 39th Street sewer system. I have watched the water levels rise and fall repeatedly on Pershing Road during the heavy rains. Are these fluctuations a result of these pumping cycles? I don't know. There isn't much we can do about the amount of rainwater nature drops on us, but we can do something about the wastewater. It is estimated that a single individual can produce up to 40 gallons of wastewater a day. We often spoke of the advantages of subscribing to the MWRD Overflow Action Alert. The alert provides notification of potential flooding, giving us the opportunity to take steps in protecting our property along with the request to reduce the wastewater population. I am pleased to see the town of Cicero post the Overflow Action Alert on social media. However, there is the chance that the alert is missed by many. I strongly encourage that residents themselves subscribe to the alerts. This way they are assured notification of potential flooding and given the power of choice. As more and more residents, not only here in Cicero, but all communities, take an active part in wastewater reduction during heavy rains, we will reduce flooding and perform our due diligence on protecting the environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else with any comments?
We got a new member.
Yeah, he's been on the last couple of meetings.
Was I not here?
I think you missed the last one.
Welcome.
Tom.
Oh, Jesus. Too many times.
Well, on that note, with Frank's, also, we also need the residents to be knowledgeable of also needing backup sewer and drain from their local insurance agent, and also from homeowners, having either renter's insurance for the renter and qualify with backup, flood insurance on the homeowners, because you can't put all into the city. Also, accountability from homeowners. It comes with it. It's just a simple question of asking their insured representatives, hey, if this happens, what if? What can I get?
Yeah. And it's got to be backup, not flood, because flood comes through the
Flood
windows.
is not qualified in Cicero because we're not zone AE.
Okay.
We're elevated, we're Zone X, so FEMA will not authorize the sale of flood insurance in the town of Cicero.
Okay, it's good to know.
Okay.
Thank you. And I know you talked about it before.
Yes.
That's good.
But you know what, sometimes if you don't speak plenty, no one listens.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
And especially this is turning into the season.
That's what's so important about this committee too, is to educate the residents on how they can protect themselves from flooding. And we do everything we can to protect our residents too, so we've made great advances already in stormwater retention.
Anything you wanna-
Does have any questions for me? I know we've been notified from HUD that what they call a desk agent is going to be assigned to us. She's going to be visiting my office. They haven't confirmed the date, most likely next week, to perform what they're going to call a virtual kickoff, to go through where we are as a town with our action plan process and to assign the technical assistance that was promised in January. The technical assistance is the additional training and education that we're going to need to implement this grant.
Good news.
That is good news.
Moving forward now.
Like I said, I was concerned when the president announced his hold on all grants, but quickly after he had said that he wasn't going to touch disaster grants, which was good news for us because the CDBG DR is a disaster recovery grant. What's holding us up is what changes in the notice are going to affect our action plan. There may be different requirements as to what data we need to collect, or data that we've already collected that we may not have needed to collect anymore. But we've been pushing forward based on that original notice from January. So I would say we're probably 80% done with the action plan. I think we're in a good spot. The deadline was April 15th. HUD has pushed it to July 15th. So we have some additional time. I'm thinking we're probably going to put out another survey on Facebook with a few different questions to try to tease out a little more data. I mean, nothing in the data has really shocked us. We know people their homes were damaged, their properties were damaged. We know renters were hit especially hard, especially being uninsured. There are a lot of uninsured. It's about a 50-50 split. 50% looks like have insurance, 50% didn't have insurance. It's been an interesting process, but like I said, nothing's really jumped out at us like a shock that we didn't anticipate.
You know, it's amazing how inexpensive renter's insurance is for those people that live in basement apartments.
Some people don't even think about it.
It's less than lunch at McDonald's per month.
A lot of our residents that are living in basements, whether a legal unit or not, I would assume that more often than not in the illegal units, those people are living check to check as is. And rental insurance can always would be a huge benefit to them in case of a disaster. They probably can't afford it. They would have to cut something else out of their check to check. Nothing's really shocked me.
But it's worth considering for those renters to consider it and evaluate their budget.
You said it was like what, $14 or something like that?
Starts at $8 a month.
$8 a month?
Starts at $8, and that's like about let's say $10,000 a personal property. And then you add the backup sewer, that's another like $2.75 to $3.
But that would be on the homeowner backup sewer,
No,
right?
that's on the renters.
On the renter?
Because remember, the homeowner is protected by only the landlord. The renters is the tenant.
So the homeowner would need backup insurance?
That's for their,
and
yes.
the tenant would need backup insurance? So
Because
the homeowner for his property or her property?
Yes.
The structure?
Yes, and that's an endorsement for the homeowner. The homeowner has an endorsement that they gotta pay. That's about starts at $200 a year, but that's, the lowest one. And for the tenants, because we only cover their personal property. The landlord is the heaters, whatever.
The walls,
Yeah. So that when I send out like mails, and the response is very minimal back because it's an extra expense. But I mean the casualties in case of a rain is massive, and I mean that's why we're also here to make sure this gets prevented, because sad but true, when something happens, everybody's easy to point fingers. And you know, that's why I'm glad that Tom President Larry Dominic's doing this, so we can put the word out on to prevent this in the future.
See, it's understandable. Renter's insurance only covers the possessions and not the structure of the building. That's why it's so inexpensive.
That's why it's so inexpensive. But then you gotta add, if you live in a basement, the backup sewer. And that's an extra $3 a month.
So $10, $11.
10, 11.
It's lunch at McDonald's for one day.
Now with renter's insurance, if someone's unit flooded, does that cover their expenses to go in a hotel if the unit is uninhabitable?
It has a temporary loss of use, but with the intentions of coming back into
Right.
the place. If they leave to another place, the loss of use stops covered. And the same thing for
yeah, understood.
the same thing for the landlord. You know, the landlord misses out on the rent because he has to repair, and that's where loss of use comes in for the landlord. With the intentions of the tenant coming back. So like I said, it's an extra, for landlords, an extra $200 a year minimum, and they have that extra protection. But it's one thing, you know, looking at it, the other thing is wanting it. You know, you want that. You want to sleep good at night. That's why it was invented, the what if.
That's less than $20 a month.
Yeah. And it saves you the trouble, the missing work. Oh my God, I got to do this, I got to do that. You know, but it's.
Yeah, I always tell the story when my pipes froze and burst in the winter. You know, I made a call to my insurance agent, and that night we were sleeping in a hotel.
Yeah.
You know, it was a disaster for us, but it was smooth. We had somewhere to go. We knew where we were going to lay our head that night.
Yeah.
So it's the owner just has to make a choice of getting the insurance or going to dinner one night out of the month.
I personally, as a landlord myself, I kind of like not enforce, but put it on the lease.
But they're
Renter's
required
insurance.
to have it?
And then, no, we don't want it. All right, I'm gonna cross it out. You come back to me and ask me, why is my stuff, whatever, got stolen? That's not my stuff. That's your stuff. So it's actually explained there. You know, it's on paper. Because, like I said, when something happens, you know, the majority of us are quick to point fingers like, why?
You know, misconception is they refer to it as the storm of the century. No, it's
Storm of the
coming
week.
quite often.
Storm of the week.
Look at Hurricane Helena flooded Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's far-reaching.
North Carolina too.
Yeah.
Yeah, about a few states, a good amount of states. But like I said,
It brought the heavy winds here in Cicero.
everything is there for reach. The question is, a lot of us are not reaching for it.
So
That's
how
why
do
it's so
we?
important to get the word out to the public. And I do appreciate April there for getting this out there.
Cicero's been proactive on the water issues. Have we done anything to talk to Berwyn and Oak Park?
We've had a
Because
meeting with Berwyn, we've had a meeting with Oak Park in Chicago. MWRD helped coordinate it. And we are hoping to have a little bit more of a better meeting, because, you know, everyone, yeah, but nothing's come. And the whole problem is, at the end of the day, we're the low end, and all those sewers all come through us that we all share together for many years.
Right.
And that's why we keep saying it's not a town of Cicero only problem. It's just that we kind of get the worst end of the whole thing, because we're the
Catch
farthest
basin.
we're the farthest south. And you know, when you got sewers filling up coming through our community, you know, it's
Our water can't.
it
enter
gets
the
drastic.
system.
And I mean, I made a silly comment the one time where hopefully if our sewer on Laramie breaks, our main one, it breaks on the north end of Chicago, because of Roosevelt Road, because we'll still be fine and let them worry about it. you know, but I mean, it was just an off-the-cuff comment, like joking about it, but in reality, you know, we all shared these, and that's what we're hoping to come with, some kind of an agreement between these communities that can, you know, help us in the long run. So it's been small.
39th Street sewer, that is their obligation. And they're supposed to be doing an overhaul of that sewer.
They awarded contracts, right?
Mm-hmm. You know, I'd like to say that I'm very proud to be part of this board here because I believe our accomplishments and what we discover and what we relay, the word gets out to the public. Maybe the other municipalities would follow suit and start taking action too.
Well, Cook County Emergency Management has been very, very active recently since that flood. We consulted with them for our action plan, and they are trying to have all these municipalities work together to try to figure this out regionally. Do I think we're going to get everyone to cooperate? Probably not. When money has to get put on the table to fund things, some municipalities don't plan for it, they're not going to want to spend for it. I think it's important. I mean, I was one of the ones that testified before the committee, state committee, to try to get the state of Illinois to designate, codify in law, a stormwater management region and force us basically to work together to figure this problem out.
Maybe we should put flow meters on the inflow from these other municipalities and go with a sewer tax.
Problem in Chicago, then probably charge us 100 times more for water.
It'll be a give and take.
Well, I noticed online too that Chicago just published their 2025 stormwater program too. So I haven't really reviewed it, but it's available online.
Chicago also published to us that they're raising their water rates 4% this year.
Well, get that sewer tax active. I mean, Austin neighborhood is one of the most heavily populated areas in the city, and all that wastewater produced there, it all comes to us.
Well, that's why last month, MWRD was also on the same page with us on the, like they say, once upon a time, Cicero was a big city. Then they started Oak Park and whatever, everything else around us. But when the big rains come, and we're getting all of this, we become a retention pond. And MWRD agreed that we were on the same page. And so far, I mean, this is more like a federal big case. And the question was, $96 million, yes, $96 million, it seems like a lot, but it's not. We need at least, I mean, what I see in other municipalities, it's like you see the big rigs, put 2 or 3 of them side by side, and that's the height that the underground needs to be. Because the water that comes in, there's so much MWRD can hold, and then the EPA comes in, so it's too much, like, you can't do this, you can't do that. But meanwhile, we're over here having lakefront properties, like you said. We're forceful to have lakefront properties, because everything is coming here, and it's getting pulled here, and MWRD agreed on it. Yeah, we do become a retention pond.
Well, may I ask, when does the McCook Quarry second phase come to completion? Do you have that information? Because the McCook Quarry, which is a reservoir for the storm and wastewater, has another phase which will just about double its capacity.
Okay.
Was that 27?
Great.
I thought it was
2029, I believe.
29. I thought it was 27. Okay, 29. Okay.
You know, like Mario said, Cicero was 39th Street to North Avenue, Western to Harlem Avenue.
Yep.
And in the 1860s, Cicero incorporated to raise tax revenue to build an infrastructure. All those sewers were Cicero's that Oak Park, Berwyn, and Chicago all use now.
That's why it becomes even more complicated. You think it would be an easy issue to solve? It's not.
It's not, yeah.
It's not.
Here we go. We got
It's
2029.
2029.
What is it?
It's 2029.
2029. Okay, thank you very much.
That's gonna make a big difference right there.
But it'll be, yeah, it's
And that's actually.
4 years
going to
down the
be-
line, but it will help a lot.
And it's a process, like everything, everything's a process, but I mean, from going to the early, mid-1800s, Cicero was destined with a certain amount of population. Where we are today, they didn't expect that, they didn't look at that back in the
Exactly.
1800s.
Not only that, when they designed the deep tunnel project,
Yeah, it wasn't designed for.
it wasn't designed
Yeah.
for this amount of wastewater and
Well, I think the
stormwater.
deep tunnel project, to me, also, just like talking to some, workers with the MWRD, it was kind of meant to take the initial, because so many combined sewer systems were in one, and what happens is, it kind of takes the major flow of all the water to hold it so it could get cleaned out more so than being a retention. Am I correct on that?
Right, so when
Yeah.
it storms, we can handle about 2 billion
Yep.
gallons a day to treat it.
Yes.
But when it's stormed, we need someplace to hold it, so our plants can then eventually get to it and treat it, and then release it into the sanitary
Yes.
ship canal if it's at Stickneys and.
So that kind of basically was considered almost like a gigantic underground catch basin.
Yes.
So hold,
It's
store the
a
water
storage tank.
before it can get treated and get back out, cleanly.
And that's what the McCook Quarry is also, the
Yeah.
storage.
Right,
So-
it's hooked up to that.
But the Cook quarry will also be able to get a lot more water into it.
And I'm glad this is being explained, and this is the reason why President Larry Donovan made this board, and I'm excited to be part of it.
Again, it's to let the public understand the nature of floodwaters here.
And then the Thornton quarry, the one out south, that one really helped that area drastically. Did you ever see that when you're going towards Michigan, through Indiana, towards Indiana and that?
Oh,
They
right.
have a Thornton quarry out there, and they're
It's
really,
up in the south,
yeah, really helped drastically the flooding area over in that area, the flooding in that area drastically. And just like, I believe once McCook is up and running completely, is gonna be a drastic help for all of our neighborhood and our communities.
You know, I'm a tree hugger, and what MWRD has done to our waterways, purifying them and bringing the wildlife and diversity of wildlife back into our waters. There's ospreys and eagles that visit the sanitary shipping canal. The wildlife variety in that canal is amazing. Largemouth bass, world-class largemouth bass. It's amazing.
Does
Good job,
this-
thank you.
Does these quarries, are their ownership retained by the present ownership, or are they turned over and
Good
just
question.
used exclusively?
The quarries are owned by MWRD now, correct?
Yeah, the reservoirs.
The reservoirs, yes.
Right now,
Oh,
they're
okay, so it's already
mining,
been
they're
established.
mining that
as
second
well.
part
Yeah,
to open it up.
and I
And
think,
it's limestone, so it's very, it's.
because wasn't it originally, I believe, 2025 or 2027, but then there was that little bit of a hiccup where there wasn't as much mining being done because construction with houses and stuff slowed down, and then it kind of, they weren't mining as much, I believe. This is something that I was told, and now it's up and mining, much more bigger now, so they could get closer to that number, 2029.
Is it a temporary thing that as needed, it retains the water, and then over time, that's brought into the system and cleansed and put back?
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Right, it's pumped into the quarries and stored there until the MWRD has the opportunity to purify that water and deliver it back into the sanitary shipping canal.
The capacity to go through the process.
And incidentally, they have open houses at both the quarry and MWRD that are really interesting. You go to the quarry, you'll be amazed at the depth of that quarry and the size
I
of
was
it.
there for its grand opening of the first phase. Yeah, I was
It's immense. You look into
a
that
little
quarry,
intimidated looking down.
you see these huge dump trucks are about that big when you're looking down at them.
Remember driving on Joliet Road over to Quarry before they closed the road?
Oh, yeah.
I was always looking for Fred Flintstone.
So if they're owned by WRD, and there's water in the system. When the water is gone, is there someone else that's contracted to continue the extraction of the materials that are there in the quarry?
I don't believe
Or
so.
has that ceased altogether?
That would be an MWRD question,
I mean, like the residual waste after the water's
No,
pumped?
the stone that was taken out over all these previous years, now that the ownership is
Subscribing to it is so important. If you receive the alert and you suspect flooding may occur, you can take steps to protect your property. If you have a basement stairwell, sandbag it.
Mhm.
You know, if you have floor drains in your basement, put a riser pipe in it. There's so many methods you could employ to protect your property if you are aware of the potential flooding. And that's why the overflow action alert is so important in my eyes. And that the residents take ownership of it.
Okay.
The way I look at it, if you have a baby, and they start to walk, you baby-proof your house, right?
Correct, yeah.
You put locks on your cabinets where your chemicals are, you put the outlet plugs in so they don't stick things in the outlets. But you never know when a kid is gonna drink, or get to those chemicals or pick something up and stick it in the outlet, but you make those adjustments to your life, whether they were gonna do it or not. Same thing with the basement. I think we should have those tips on ways to protect your belongings if it does flood, if and when it does flood.
Absolutely.
Make it as important as paying the utility bills. Like,
Yeah.
You know how you pay your light and gas bill? If you don't, what happens?
Shut you off.
It gets cut off, so that's the accountability. You
Well,
gotta take that step.
It's like Tom says, have the people learn, because a good majority of the Cicero population is not familiar with the infrastructure of buildings here. They don't really understand it, and if we could educate them, they could take a sense of ownership to protect their property and a knowledge of it.
Because a lot of the statistics are gonna be inches of rainfall, over time. If you look at 23, we received probably average amount of rainfall. Problem was, it all happened in one day.
Right.
Because we hadn't had rain for April, May, June. We were in a drought when those 9 inches of rain came. And that caught us up to be where we were supposed to be with average rainfall.
And then everything, even the grass was like concrete.
It was,
I
everything
believe-
just shed off.
I believe that it doesn't take more than 2 inches of rain over the Cook County area to reach the capacity of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation.
That sounds right.
So
And a 2-inch
over 2
rainfall is
inches of
not
rain,
torrential.
and you've got 8 inches falling in a matter of a couple hours.
Yeah. I mean, I got water in my basement. It didn't come through the sewer. Like I said, it came down my basement steps and went under my basement door. But everything we have in our basement is elevated. Our washer and dryer is elevated. Our furnace is elevated. All our belongings are in plastic containers, so we really didn't lose it. It was enough to make a mess, cause a headache.
But I understand you took some steps to protect that stairwell.
Yeah, I have water snakes around
Pigs around.
around my basement steps. So when they get wet, they swell up and.
And if you know that if you receive an overflow.
Oh, they're-
action
no, they're
alert,
there.
You go and you put them out.
I don't even have to. They're flat now, but
Uh-huh.
they're out there 365.
Check out that property over there in Ogden and Central there, that DNSF had
Oh,
purchased.
the detention they're putting in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I drove by it this morning.
We fought for that.
Well, they learned a lesson when we took the rail yard out. Won that one.
We fought for that spot too.
Mhm. But they've got those pigs surrounding that whole perimeter too.
Mhm.
I love walking around and checking things out. And what is Morton College doing? They're just doing some expansion there on the property.
Is that a field? Are they doing that baseball field?
I don't know what they're doing.
They're on
Sports stadium or whatever? I
on
thought.
39th Street, actually, they excavated a little bit.
Yeah,
Are they
I
building
saw a
a
lot of
detention
trucks and
pond?
stuff going over there. I'm not aware. I know there was talks about doing a sports facility.
Most of the visible stuff is the guards that they're putting at the entrances so that they can close off the facility after certain hours. All they did was scrape the top surface on the piece on their east portion of their
On
property.
the southeast
But there's
portion,
nothing yet.
It's actually a lower level now.
Not much, a couple inches maybe.
Well, no,
you know.
maybe a foot or two.
Really that much?
Yeah, I walked it just the other day.
Oh.
And there is a huge manhole there with rocks and an inflow.
We're at
position.
on the grass
Yeah.
area?
The southeast corner of their property there.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Good meeting today.
Thank you so much. Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Oh, you can go online. You can probably go to Amazon and order 'em.
For what?
For the pigs.
Oh,
There's another name for it, right?
Water snakes.
Water snakes or waterberries.
I got mine on Amazon.
Yeah. What to search for? What is water snakes?
I think I searched water snake. 'Cause I remember 'em when working retail, we would use them to absorb spills and stuff like that.
Well, I spent 37 years at St. Joe's Hospital, retiring as the chief engineer. Believe me, when those heavy rains came, because what they did, they closed off Diversity Harbor, which used to receive all that storm water. So that water would just sit.
And I got one where I know I always get seepage in the corner of my basement, so I have it laid out there, so it just,
See, steps you could take to protect your property.
yeah.
okay, everybody. Good meeting, thank you.
What happened to your camera?
And I don't think we're gonna meet next week. Monday already, I mean, Tuesday, we already met. I mean, the next meeting would have been tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not meeting tomorrow, guys. But we'll
So-
put another meeting together and, we'll get everything rolling. Hopefully we'll have more projects, more stuff to give answers on. Hopefully we'll get some information. Tom will have more information also to deliver by then. And hopefully we'll know more about, maybe we'll get a call from FEMA or MWRD about, yes, your project's been accepted or not, so we'll know. And I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there any seconds?
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it, thank you. Everybody have a wonderful Easter.
So I will report April's meeting being tentative.
Yeah.
We'll decide on that.
Yeah, we'll come up with a day. We'll see when we get more information so we can actually go over much more.
Well, I enjoyed today. I had